gonna build a miter saw table.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Tarnwood Homes DIY and Home Improvement channel. Today I'm tackling a project that's on every woodworker's must-have list, a DIY miter saw table. Whether you're working in a small shop, your garage, or even a large space, this table will make your cuts more precise and your workflow smoother. And the best part is, we're building it with a budget of $150. Before we dive in, let's go over what you'll need for this project. Here are the materials. So you're gonna need 2x4s, you're gonna need 2x6s, and those are just for the frames. You're gonna need plywood or MDF board for the top surface. And I went ahead and used MDF board, not only because it's cheaper, but also it's a little bit more durable. I know some people may say, hey, it's horrible with moisture and all that stuff, but we're just being cost efficient. Later on, I'll build one with butcher blocks, so stick around for that. But I decided to use MDF. It's lighter, and like I said, it was just more affordable and easy to cut. Also, you're gonna need screws. I use wood screws. You might need wood glue, but I didn't use any wood glue for this. You're definitely gonna need casters just for the mobility, and you're gonna need measuring tape, drill, a circular saw, a straight edge, and you're gonna need a tape measure, and that's really about it. And also, I can't forget this, you're also gonna need a dust mask. A dust mask is super important because it helps protect your lungs from the microscopic fibers that we can't see whenever we're cutting wood or MDF board. So that's super important. And also, if it's in the budget, make sure you grab a modular foam panel. That's a super helpful trick that I learned. It keeps you from cutting into your sawhorse or the ground. Give you that little extra bit of layer and protection. And the good thing about it, it's super cheap and affordable. So if it's within a budget, make sure you have one. Also, make sure you have a shop vac involved. You see that I use my shop vac just to clear up some of the dust and stuff like that. There's nothing I hate worse than a dirty and dusty work area. So as you can see, I'm marking my 2x6s. This is gonna be my frame. So we're just getting that mark. I'm using my straight edge. You can use a straight edge out of anything. You can use a straight edge with a 2x4, but I decided to use my ruler because I decided to use everything that I have. For my frame, I'm making it 32 inches wide by 48 inches long, so 32 by 4 foot. And then for the table itself, I'm making it 36 inches tall, which is standard countertop height, but you can adjust it to fit your needs. Once you have your pieces, it's time to assemble the base, which is what I'm doing right now. Use wood screws, you can use glue to secure the legs to the cross supports, but I decided to use all screws. I didn't even use brackets this time, so because I don't plan on putting anything too heavy on it, by the way. I'm just gonna be putting my miter saw and a few tools here and there on it. But the key thing is, make sure your surface is smooth and flat. So if you're using plywood, you're gonna have to sand it down, but if you're using MDF board, it's already gonna be smooth. So that's another reason why I'm using MDF board. And like I said, it's pretty durable. Then you cut it to size. So right now I'm just cutting everything, getting everything together. As you can see, I'm using my clamps. That's super important. Every workshop needs a clamp. So clamps, it keep things secure and keep things in place. So right now I'm assembling everything. I have everything cut. I'm assembling everything. I'm making sure everything is flush and square. That's really important. You don't want it to be too off, or you don't want your cuts to be too small, and then you have to kind of cheat a little bit. You want everything to be near almost tight fit. So I'm going to secure the top with screws. I'm spacing about 6 to 8 inches apart from the edge. This ensures a tight fit and prevents wobbling. The key feature of this table is the recessed shelf for your miter saw. So I know you're wondering what he's talking about. So we're gonna get more into that towards the end, but definitely keep that in mind. You're gonna need a recessed shelf because your miter saw is I think it's gonna be like 4 inches high. So you kind of want your shelves to match with it. That way everything is flush and smooth. And you don't have to overcompensate. So just keep that in mind when you're figuring out your miter saw. You don't have to build it exactly like mine, but mine is the most, I will say, cost efficient and time efficient as well. As you can see here, I'm about to secure the shelves, the countertop to the base. This is very important. Overall, I put a total of 16 wood screws and I kind of buried them a little deep so that they won't protrude or stick out. Because like I said, I want my surface as clear as possible. So I do this. This takes like 10 minutes, maybe 10 minutes just to do everything. Keeping up with your time is very important. You don't want to spend too much time or too much detail on stuff that really doesn't matter. But as you can see, everything is flush. I got as flush as possible. Right now I'm just securing everything. I'm not putting all my screws in just because I need to have room just to move stuff around, or just in case I gotta take out some and readjust it. So I just put in enough screws to secure it because I'm about to actually flip it over after I install these legs, but that's gonna be later in the video. So far, if you're finding this video helpful or informative, please make sure you like, subscribe, and share, as we'll make more videos like this in the near future. But any support will help. So thank you so much for even just watching this. So we're gonna get back to it. So since I don't have my miter saw, cutting these 4x4 was a little difficult. The part of getting them flush was a little difficult, but I found out a way I tried a different way to secure them to the base, so where they don't have to be necessarily flush. I'll show you guys and I'll explain guys to later on in the video. But yeah, there are easier ways to cut 4x4s with a circular saw. You can cut half on one side and then come on the other half on the other side and cut the other half. But I just wasn't thinking at the time, so I just kept playing around with it, which actually wasted a lot of time, as you can see. And it cut stuff down to I cut it down less to when I needed to be. But I still found out a way to overcome that. So that one was kind of straight. It wasn't too straight, but that's going to be my starter leg, and everything else is going to go off that leg. So I have to make sure everything is flush. But the good thing about it, that was the longest leg. So all the other legs, I was able to cheat a little bit. As you can see, if you look at the bottom, I already pre-drilled some screws in. That's super helpful. That's actually a pro tip, because you don't have time. You really don't. Especially if you're working by yourself. I work by myself a lot, so you really don't have the luxury of having an extra hand to hold something for you and stuff like that. So it's just smart to already kind of pre-drill holes and just let the screws sit there, and then that way you can adjust with one hand, and the other hand you can just drill it on there. So as you can see, I'm going putting all the legs in. I'm making sure everything is level. That's super important. Make sure you have like a 6-foot level or a 7-foot level. It just make your life way easier. Like I said, as you can see, I'm just making sure everything's level. That's the worst. That's the last thing you want, an uneven saw table. As we continue, I'm going to talk about a few tools that I'm using that I haven't mentioned. So one of the tools I'm using is a bit extension. It's called a Max Fit Ultra 6-inch bit extension. It's like $10 at Home Depot. It's super worth it. It's better than just using a standard drill bit. This helps you get into the places that your drill can't get into because it's just so bulky. So that extra 6 inches, that extra 6 to 7 inches, it makes a huge difference. Another tool I forgot to mention was my Craig straight edge for the circular saw. That's a super important tool. You want your cuts as straight as possible, so that definitely helps. Later on in the future, I will upgrade to a bigger one where I can cut 48 inches, because the one I have now is only up to 24 inches. And another tool that I had ordered but didn't come was a pocket hole. It was a pocket hole jig, but I'll make a video about that later in the future and how to use that and why they're so important for any woodworking shop. Alright, so now I got the casters on, and now it's time for the moment of truth. Let's see if all this hard work finally pays off. So I know people saying, you shouldn't be doing that by yourself. I know, but I mean, it's just me in the shop, and I'm not gonna wait until my girlfriend get off her 8-hour shift to help me with this. I'm pretty sure she's gonna tell me no anyways. So it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. So as you can see, it's sturdy right now. It's looking pretty sturdy. Let's sit on it. This is roughly 225 pounds. And as you can see, I was happy. So I'm going ahead and putting the rest of the remaining screws in, because we're done with it being upside down. Now it's time to put on the wings. I didn't get the first part when I put on the first wings, and then I made a crucial mistake. I'm pretty sure you guys already can tell it's my crucial mistake, but I won't find out until after I put on the second wing what I did wrong. And it's crazy because I kept telling myself throughout the whole process, like, don't forget this, and I actually end up forgetting it. So I'm pretty sure the woodworkers and the professionals already noticed what I did wrong. And I kind of already talked about it in the beginning as well, but it ended up working out because, I mean, I didn't waste too much time trying to fix it. But also, as you can see, I'm using a small, thinner size. I'm learning from my mistake on the other side. I'm using a small, thinner size. That way I don't have to adjust and try to struggle with it. That was a cool, real easy to adjust. So I'm putting the rest of the folding brackets on. These folding brackets they were $25. They're called folding arm brackets on Amazon. I'll make sure I put the links for them in the description below. These brackets are killer. They do their job, and they're super easy to maneuver with, and they're super easy to understand. I had a problem with it in the beginning. One bracket was bent. Maybe it was because of me. I'm not sure. I did test out everything. It was working fine, so I'm pretty sure it bent because of me. But I ended up getting that fixed. And as you can see, I'm putting everything in, and this is where I feel learned that I had made a crucial mistake. Once I get these few screws in, I don't know. Maybe I was just so excited. I think I was just so excited to get this job done, and I was just so excited, like at the good timing I was making and stuff like that. You know, when you're doing stuff by yourself, it's just hard to remember everything that you wrote down or everything that you said you was gonna do. So yeah, that's one I had a little problem with. And then this is when I realized, oh man, the screws are not gonna hold the right way to MDF board. So I took everything apart, and the good thing about it wasn't a hard fix. It just took an extra 15 minutes onto the job. So I just go ahead and drill everything drill the 2x4s into the actual MDF board, and then I remount everything back. Like I said, the screw hole was already there, so it wasn't too hard. It wasn't too hard to figure out and do. And this is where I had to fix the bracket, that little part right there. And there you have it, a fully functional miter saw table built from scratch. This table is sturdy, practical, and customizable to my needs. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future DIY projects. Let me know in the comments what projects you would like to see me run next. Until then, happy building.